Alrighty. So, I guess now it's welcome to my YouTube channel, Armor Mac Models. Or Armor Max Models, or whatever I wrote, not quite exactly sure. I think it was Armor Max Models. I just changed the name a few minutes ago. I was able to figure out how to do that. So thank you to Joseph for pointing that out as a good idea to do. Been thinking about it for a while, to be honest, just not sure how it would, affect things. It now didn't hurt the channel as much as, for subs or anything. So please don't panic too much when you get this new weird YouTuber on your subs list that you didn't know you had before. It was just a name change. But that's neither here nor there. So last week, I think the last thing I finished off with this was this here. Well, not last week, but for the last 2 weeks, this thing I finished off here was this section, and it had the propeller shafts going through it. So my plan is to add the little shell bins for that shell room that was in there, as well as an final engineer store. Then I might kind of tweak things up in the next deck there and see if everything seems about nicely populated enough to me, which looks pretty good to me, to be honest. And then I shall go through the task once again of priming and painting, and hopefully in the end of this next little 2-week run here, we'll actually have another section in that hall. We are rapidly approaching. This isn't the full section. We only got, after this one, I only got 2 left, and these are actually pretty. I think these are mostly storerooms. I think in the front too. There might be some things, but But yeah, all right. So we are moving right along. Let's see if I can even get started on those things. The only way that's going to happen is if I stop talking and start working. So here we go. All right, and as you can see, I'm just adding those final shell bins to this here deck. But along with that, I just wanted to say big thanks to Joe for the idea to change his channel name and to add some tags to the channel itself, because we've gone from 13 to 15 subscribers. Also, thank you very much to the 2 new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. Hope you enjoy, and please feel free to leave comments and all that good stuff. I do read them, as evidenced by the name change. And welcome to the channel. So you'll see there, I'm kind of finishing up my final deck bit there. I may be adding some finishing touches. But along with some finishing touches, there's planning for the Bismarck. So let's see if I can get the icon numbers and whatnot to line up this time. So take a look at my little list here, and I've got AA shells, small gun shells, medium gun shells, large gun shells, and refrigerators for the kitchens. So I think that's about 44. All right. And along with that, I guess just another little kind of pre-game announcement, as I'm, again, putting little bits of, trying to see what it is exactly I'm doing here. It looks like I'm filling in some stores and adding some shelves in places. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm folding those little boxes I previously had as shell bins, using some super glue to hold styrene strip in place, and then putting them in so they all look like they're fully assembled shelves. And it's actually looking like we're getting about to the end of this here time-lapse segment, so I guess that's the next time-lapse section that I get to tell you a little announcement just temporarily for the video pacings of this channel. Without further ado, then, here's me at normal speed. Alright, so I think that's this deck just about assembled. Now, before I get too crazy, let's see if I can't drop them all into place here. Maybe while I'm at it, I'll clean this up too, but that's neither here nor there. Alright, in goes the first one. That's all these nice propeller shafts. Actually, might want to tweak things just a little bit there to help it, sit in better. That might be the case. Hold on, do I have to? Yeah, it sits in nice. That's good. Might want to add some green stuff just to fill it bits in. Here's the torpedo room and associated stores. And then we have down here these. So there's that hydraulic machinery room and all that storage space there. Looks good. Looking very nice. Alright, here's this. Lower part of the barbette and some mess space. And just as I again feared, yeah, we are right at the tippy top there. So, on the one hand, it would be really cool to, you know, make it all work out. Is it possible for me to lower this and just that little smidgen? Maybe. So, on the one hand, I could use this as a lesson in modifying the hull. I think what I'm going to do instead is splay out one of these decks. And hopefully doing that, I'll be able to make it a bit more, you know, I'll be able to guarantee that it works that way. Because I could, you know, just do them all out in like in a display and then leave the others in the boat that you could open up and discover. Huh. There's a couple of ways I could go about this, too. Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of... You know, what's the old saying? There's a lot of ways to skin a cat. I'm going to have to think of how. But that's neither here nor there, because I really wanted this all to fit in, but it's not really looking like it's gonna, so I'm going to have to... I'm going to have to think about why that would be. I have a couple thoughts. I think the photo etch, when I fold it up, just isn't quite perfect. And all those little additions add up to more than this thing really should have been made to handle. Again, though, it's neither here nor there. Yeah, see, I've got smaller things, so maybe if I'd made things smaller from the get-go, it would have fit better. But that's... Alright, so either way, I'm going to go ahead and get some sleep tonight, because, well, Lord knows I need that. And hopefully I didn't put you to sleep while waiting for this little kind of channel pacing announcement. So what I've decided to try doing is spraying these pieces from different angles using that tape to hold it. Hold the decks completed. And then I put on my primer. So I'll get to the why there's a little syringe there in a sec. But the announcement is, so my wife and my son are going to be doing something. Specifically, my son has a minor surgery coming up, minor thing. But I figured, you know, just while he's there in the hospital recovering, you know, try to make a video every day that he's there, kind of deal. So, yeah, this is gonna. So, yeah, video pacing is gonna go up, but the quality might go down. That said, the quality of the model should still remain about the same. So there I go. I went to spray my primer. And so, why why that little syringe? Well, I figured if I took that syringe and I used it to actually measure out the paints, that I could actually come up with a good way to have controlled results and have that come out just about perfectly. And what I ended up doing, I think what I went with was 2 green, 4 yellow, and 1 white were the parts of the paint. So yeah, and that came out really good, I think. So my plan is to use similar techniques in the future, but what I might do is get an actual pipette so that I can actually, you know, get the thing to nicely, easily dispense. Because there's some really good pipettes out there that you can use. They, you know, measure to less than a milliliter, and it's like microliters, I guess it measures to. You can be really precise with that and get it really good. So here's the results. So after I've got this lighter green, I know it's lighter than other greens I've done, and I'm sure it's not quite the accurate color, but again, this was to try to. This again is the figure all the little things out model for when I do the Bismarck, which, you know, as you're new, is going to be delayed because of I got to do a B-17 model first. Again, just because, you know, my youngest son wants that, or seems to want that done sooner rather than later, and I can try to use that model as a good way to slip in some learn to slip in some electronics into it, and then have ideas for how to do that with Bismarck potentially. But anyways, going right along. So yeah, we got the grayed on walls there. I use gray for the walls, the green just for their base coat and the floors. And now what I'm doing is all the shelving units and stuff that I built previously, I am painting with a dark brown first because I plan on adding a light brown. I figured this time around what I might try and do is add a more weathered effect by actually doing a bit of weathering with some, dry brushing here and there. And if I could try to sneak in an ink wash, so much the better. I feel pretty good about the results I got from the dry brushing type techniques. The ink washes, not as much. Not that they were completely inept, just that I guess not as much. Oh no, there are a few places where it really came out pretty good, so... Alright, but yeah, there I am. I'm using the brown. That was, I think, the Mournfang brown or something from, or Redux, whichever one is darker, I think, for the Games Workshop line of paints. They have a bunch of fanciful names because, they have Warhammer 40k and the Warhammer Fantasy franchises they do. I guess it's Warhammer Age of Sigmar now or something. But, so there I am, again, using the fine brush for getting all those walls nice and done. And as you can see, I kind of shuffle this little deck piece around. Now I'm painting over areas with the closest color I had on hand. That's another reason to try and have good mixes of paint to be able to really dial in everything if I need to. Even better still would be to have the right colors of paints in the right kinds of paints. You'll see me actually make a bit of a hullabaloo over the right kinds of paint in a little bit as I'm trying to do some officers. So there we go. All right. I think what I must have done there was try to add an officer or something that fell off. Yeah, that must have been what happened, and then I probably painted them separately and then put them into place. So another thing I'm going to try doing with the next set of decks in this boat is to see if I can't have some way to kind of organize the general layout of everything before I even base coat that deck, and have things kind of pre-painted so I can really dial in those details, really bring things out. Probably be a good technique for the Bismarck when I'll really want to differentiate all those things, but have this stuff in close proximity and what have you. It might also open up some different detailing opportunities, like better ways to do the doors, better ways to say, I don't know, add something that looks like to the effect of cable conduits moving around and stuff. Just some ideas that I figured I'd test here if possible. Gonna just spitballing a little bit as we go through again this time-lapse section. So you see me painting more things. Here we go. I'm painting the beds blue like I usually do. The pillows will be white. Yeah, so this is a lot of painting. Again, I use a 50-50 mix of whatever I'm thinning with to paint usually. I find that works the best for brushing for me. Although a big problem, at least with the acrylics, is the drying time, especially on these smaller brushes. And the even smaller brushes, it's a horrible, horrible pain. And I could almost say use oil paints instead and ignore acrylics entirely. But that's just because of the drying problem. If you're good with acrylics, a tiny brush like that, go right ahead. I'm not gonna tell you, that things are impossible. I mean, I'm sure people get good results of them all the time. Anyways, so there I am, just doing bits of touch up here and there. And I think after adding some gray bits there, I eventually get some white paint. Not yet. Guess I'm doing some wall touch up a bit more, and then eventually I'll get a thing of white paint. And then I'll realize, wait a minute, I don't need the white acrylic paint because I have white oil paint. Which, actually, no, that's not even what comes next. Silly me. I guess I've gotten a little ahead of myself. But as you can see, here I am painting things through. It takes a while to paint because this is all done at 20 times speed. And in about a moment, the battery's going to run out of the camera, and that'll mean that we go on to a slow speed section just about now. Alright, so I think this seems to have it pretty good. So, not sure you see it super clearly, but I'm getting to a point where I'm just about there, I think, with the appropriate details. I'm going to try to add a little weathering to this setup, and then maybe a couple of enhancements onto the people's clothes and stuff, just to kind of bring it all together a bit. And then we'll get to the next one. Although I think I really want to start thinking of how can I paint these things and then put them in position? That could result, I think, in some much better results. Although to do that, gonna have to find a way to prime them like off the, you know, thing. That might drive me to make a tool. Huh. Okay, that's it. New sticky note. Alright. So back to this. I'm gonna go ahead though, and I'm gonna actually try to do a bit of, you know, not sure if I call it weathering or not, but kind of on those lines, just to see if I can do it at this scale. Because if I can practice at this scale, it'll be great for the 200. Alrighty. So by great for the 200, I mean that 1/200th scale Bismarck that I plan on building up eventually. So yeah, for the newcomers to this channel, long and short is this is the kind of pre-game for that really big, really nice Trumpeter Bismarck kit that came out a while ago. Yeah, kind of, you know, I got it on sale. There's the first video of this playlist, I think, does a pretty good job of describing the lore of this channel before I nuked it because of the whole YouTube COPPA thing. Alright, so there I am, and I've tried a little thing here, and you're going to hear about it in slow speed in just about half a second. So I have this poised for some dramatic effect. Usually, and for the longest time, I've been trying to paint tiny details with this. And today, finally, I pulled my head out of my butt a bit. Instead of using this brush for this fast-drying acrylic, I instead used it along with White Spirit from AK, I guess that one is, with this oil-based paint. And that was a lot easier to work with. So yeah, no, that's pretty good there. The right tool for the right job. Alright. But enough of my silliness. Let's get back to this. See if I can't do a little weathering or something here. Weathering and other bits of my silliness. Along with some parts I sped up into a time-lapse, they did talk about a bit more of, you know, about my son, you know, what he's on it for. But that, you know, I don't want this to be the pity party channel, and I try to keep things a little closer to the chest. You know, this is the internet after all. But not a minor thing. He'll be fine. But yeah, I figured, you know, might brighten the my wife's day as well as his day a bit if I make new videos on this playlist for kind of the upcoming week, sort of. But we'll see. We'll see. So there I go. Now I start on the next compartment after I finish the other one, and I actually zoom in really close for a bit, and I guess block the view with my hands. I was hoping that wouldn't happen. I guess that's life. So as you can see, I use a brush to first paint all the big stuff, like all the, you know, walls and everything, and then eventually my technique is to kind of narrow in on maybe smaller brushes, depending, for other smaller details. Say putting on the skin on the heads, if you will, just, you know, the little dab of paint to be the skin or whatnot, or I don't know. I've actually done on one of these in the past. You'll see it if you look at the whole list. There was actually a one where I actually painted meals onto the little tables I made there. Also, in that particular one, I had larger tables, but that's neither here nor there. I think I know what happened, by the way, for what's pushing these decks to be too big, is that I think I kept some of the sizes of the little shelves I've made, right? And other little pieces like the people and stuff. And that's just tall enough to push the push all the decks up that little bit, and that's just making this that little bit too tall for the boat's interior. So something again to remember for the Bismarck is to properly measure and think these things out. But again, this is meant to be the test model where we bump into all the problems, so when we get to the Bismarck, it's smooth sailing. Whether it actually is smooth sailing or not, I don't know, but we can certainly hope. At least we can hope it's better sailing than what happened to the Bismarck. Swiss cheese! Take a look at my little icon and you'll see what I mean. But yeah, if you look at the whole story as well, yeah, you'll understand exactly where I'm coming from. The entire British Navy pretty much used it for artillery practice at the end. But alright, anyway, so there's me. I've painted a bunch of the things, the various, not just the shelves, but also the tables I've set up in that little mess area and the beds. And I guess there's a thing here. I guess I'm about to get cut short on my audio, so I hope you enjoyed, and got a little surprise for you for sticking around. Alright, so yeah. Guess I'm going to wrap it up here, because this big memory card is about to run out, and then that means I got to go do some fun computery stuff. But yeah, and after that little surprise I alluded to, what I call the YouTube dance. Like, share, subscribe, hooray! Alright, I'm going to get to video editing, and hopefully I'll be able to come up with a bunch of videos really quick, just to keep my wife and son entertained while they are away. Alright, peace out!